Hare Krishna. So we have completed chapter number 15 and we have seen this chapter in detail, going through each and every shloka, highlighting the important points and understanding the relationships between the shlokas, between the sections, and also we understood about ourselves and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now what we will do is, in this video, we will try to summarize the entire chapter. So let's see all the verses, all the 20 verses together now at one go. So now with chapter 15 and chapter 14, how they are related. Let's try to understand this. So in chapter 14, there was a great description given about the three modes of material nature controlling the living entity, and the person is bound in the material world. Now, how to understand this entire material world and how to get out of it, that is spoken now in chapter number 15. And it starts with a very nice analogy that Krishna is giving. So here, from text number 1 to 6, we have got a description about material world to spiritual world. So now in text 1 and 2, shloka number 1 and 2, Krishna is talking about a tree, the inverted banyan tree. So the first shloka says, Urdhva moolam adha shakham. Urdhva moolam, the roots are up, adha shakham, the branches are down. Ashwatham prahuravyayam, and this is an imperishable banyan tree. Chandams yasya paranani, and the leaves are the Vedic hymns. Yastam Vedas Vedavit, and anyone who knows this tree knows the entire Vedas. So we have a tree, inverted tree, roots are up, branches are down. The leaves which are there, those leaves represent the Vedic hymns. And then in shloka number 2, now the branches are considered. So how are these branches growing? So these branches are going upwards and they are also growing downwards. And then it is said that these branches or this tree is nourished by what? These trees are nourished, or these branches are nourished by three modes of material nature. And the twigs which are there. So we have a branch and then we have a twig coming out from the branch. So branch and the twig that is there, the intersection point of the two, those are the senses. And the twig is the sense object. And here it is given that there is some speciality about this tree. So there are main roots going upwards, but then there are secondary roots, which are going downwards. And these secondary roots, here it is given that these are bound to the fruitive actions of human society. So in this way we are understanding that when the person is in mode of goodness, those are represented by the branches upwards. Mode of ignorance and mode of passion, branches downwards. And every activity that a person does in this world, what happens? The secondary roots are becoming stronger and stronger and stronger, and he is bound in this world. Now the question is, what to do then? Any escape from this tree? Can we escape from this tree? The answer is given in shloka number 3 and 4. So yes, no one can perceive where this tree begins, where this tree ends, what its origin is, but still one should endeavor to find the origin of that particular tree, the inverted banyan tree that we are talking about. And then here it is said that but with determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. So this astra we have to use, the astra of asanga or detachment, and we should cut this tree. After cutting this tree, what to do? One should seek for the spiritual world. One should surrender on to Krishna and one should go back home, back to God. One should seek for the spiritual world. And the speciality of the spiritual world is one who goes will not come back. So what are the different qualities of such people? Who can surrender on to the Lord? Yes, here it is given. They are free from false prestige, illusion, false association. So shloka number 5 gives an elaborate description. Who are freed from dualities of happiness and distress, who are unbewildered, such people can actually surrender to Krishna. Then, okay, this is about people surrendering to Krishna, their qualities. So can you please explain about some features of the spiritual world? Then Krishna in shloka number 6, he is saying that there is no need of sun, moon and fire. Why? Because those planets are self-illuminated. self-effulgent. So there is no need of sun, moon and fire there. Now after having said this particular section about material world to spiritual world, now from shloka number 7 to 11, transmigration of living entities is spoken about. Now if you ask a question, who is the spirit soul? Who is this living entity? Krishna is saying in shloka number 7, Mamai Vamsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhota Sanatanaha. They are my parts and parcels, O Arjuna. You all are my parts and parcels. And then he is saying, but then since you are in this material world, you are struggling with the six senses, which is led by the mind. So after having said this, in the future shlokas, what is Krishna talking about? About the transmigration of the living entity. So from one body to another, so in shloka number 8 it is given, a living entity goes from one body to another. But then while going from one body to another, it carries the conceptions from one body and goes to the next body. Like the air carries the aroma from one place to another. And then it is said, depending on the modes of material nature, depending on the karma of the living entity, it will take some particular type of body. And the speciality of this body will be what? The speciality of this body is, it will have specific set of senses and it will get attracted to specific set of sense objects only. And we gave the example of a hog. So hog will naturally get attracted, its tongue will naturally get attracted to what? To stool. Even if you keep rasgulla in front of it, it will not get attracted. But whereas a human being, he will get attracted to the sweet and not the stool for sure. So in this way we understand that how the living entity, based on one's karma, based on the modes of material nature it has acquired, it gets a body with specific set of senses which get attracted to specific set of sense objects. Now after having said this, here it is said that so many things are happening in this world. Soul transmigration, every now and then. We don't know how many millions of souls are getting transferred from one body to another. But still, not everyone is able to understand this. Why? Because they don't have Shastric knowledge, because they are not self-realized. So in shloka number 10 and 11, Krishna makes it very clear that the ones who have Shastric knowledge, the ones who are self-realized, they are able to see things as they are, but then the ones who are not self-realized, the ones who don't have Shastric knowledge, they are the ones who remain in ignorance. They cannot understand about what's going on. So in this way, the Lord has spoken about the soul transmigration. Now from shloka number 12 to 15, Lord is speaking about how He is the maintainer. He is the one who is providing the basic necessities for all of us in our day-to-day life. So here it is said, He is giving specific examples. What are specific examples? He's talking about the splendor of the sun, the splendor of the moon and the fire. He's saying this, that all these three are my manifestations. They are my vibhutis. And then he goes on to say that I enter each planet and I am the one because of whose energy these planets stay in the orbit. And he is repeating the same point. He's saying, I am that moon. And what do I do in that form? I am the one who supply the juice of life to all the vegetables. And then he continues and he says that, okay, outside fire, it's me. But then the inside fire, the fire of digestion, is also me. He makes it very clear, which is used for digesting the 4 kinds of foodstuffs. So here Krishna has told that how in the bound state, He helps all of us. By being the sun, by being the moon, by being the fire, both outside and inside. And along with that now, Krishna helps us, obviously in the bound state, but along with that He helps us to go towards liberation. One very special thing Krishna does for all of us in the bound state, He helps us by giving us remembrance, knowledge and forgetfulness, so that we can maintain ourselves very nicely and fulfill our past desires also. And for liberation, what He gives? He gives us the Vedic scriptures. He is the Vedanta Krit, He is the compiler, Vedanta Vit, He is the knower, and He is the one to be known. This is a very, very important point, not to note. So in this way, from shloka number 12 to 15, Krishna has very nicely told us that I am the person who is taking care of all of you all, I am maintaining all of you. And after having said this, Krishna elaborates something from the Vedic scriptures. In 3 verses, he gives us the Sambandha Gyan, the knowledge of our relationship with Krishna, 16 to 18. So in this, Krishna is talking about Kshara and Akshara, fallible and infallible beings. So he is telling that the fallible ones are there in the material world, infallible ones are there in the spiritual world. And then in shloka number 17, he is saying that he is the greatest when it comes to all these different living entities. So be it the bound ones in the material world who are called as Jiva Bhuta, or the ones who are liberated who are called as Brahma Bhuta, it doesn't matter. When the Lord is compared to these entities, Lord is always the greatest. And these living entities can never become equal to that of the Lord. So we have stressed a lot on this point, in these specific videos. And then Krishna is telling, I am transcendental, beyond both the fallible and infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as a supreme person. So Krishna himself is telling, I am the supreme personality of Godhead. He makes it very clear. Then the ones who understand this knowledge, in shloka number 19, he is saying that whoever knows me as supreme personality of Godhead without doubting, he will engage himself in full devotional service to me. So here Krishna is giving the knowledge of Abhidheya. That is the process of attaining the goal, the ultimate goal. What is the process? Devotional service unto Krishna. Now after understanding the process, what is the goal? So here Krishna is saying that whoever understands this will become wise and his endeavors will know perfection. So the goal is Krishna, the eternal service at the lotus feet of Krishna. So we have this goal in our life that we have to attain Krishna, this very life, so that we don't waste much time here in this world. From so many lifetimes we have been wasting time. Now at least, now we should have this firm determination of attaining the goal by going through the proper process and understanding our proper relationship with the Lord. So in this way, in chapter 15, Krishna has given us so many different things. He spoke about the material world, then he spoke about the spiritual world, and then he speaks about how he is the maintainer, and then finally he speaks about the relationship of the living entities and his own. He speaks about the process by which we can attain him and the goal itself as Krishna. So in this way, in this particular chapter, chapter number 15, titled as the Purushottam Yoga or the Yoga of Supreme Person, Krishna has given us elaborate details about various things, about himself, about the living entities and this material world. So now, from the next video onwards, we are ready. We are ready to start chapter number 16. So let's see that, verse by verse, from next video onwards. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna